Imagine you are like trapped near the top floor of a massive skyscraper during an earthquake.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is terrifying.
Right. The floor is pitching, the walls are groaning, and it just feels like the whole world is going down. That exact feeling of existential terror and that desperate hope that someone engineered the pillars to hold is the foundation of today's deep dive.
It really is.
We are exploring a single, incredibly vivid piece of ancient literature, which is Psalm 75 from the English Standard Version. Our mission is to unpack its intense metaphors about justice, power, and stability. To understand this text's unique perspective on cosmic order.
Yeah, we really want to get into the details.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because right out of the gate, the text gives us this intriguing, very specific subtitle. It reads, "To the choir master, according to Do Not Destroy, a psalm of Asaph."
Which immediately sets a fascinating stage for you, the listener. I mean, we were looking at a piece of music designed for a choir, yet it carries some remarkably heavy existential weight.
Really does.
It begins with Thanksgiving, but it quickly grounds that gratitude in the terrifying concept of a fragile world.
Yeah, in verses 2 and 3, it says, "The earth and all its inhabitants totter," which is just an intense word.
It is. But then a divine voice steps in and says, "It is I who keep steady its pillars."
So returning to that skyscraper analogy, it's like the reassurance that the ultimate architect designed those foundational pillars to absorb the shock, right?
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is how the text flips our usual expectations of divine judgment.
Mm.
Because, often ancient texts portray judgment as chaotic, destructive wrath.
Like lightning bolts and total destruction.
Right. But here, judgment is the ultimate stabilizing force against a fragile, tottering world. It's not breaking the structure, it's actually holding it together.
Well, if the divine is the ultimate architect holding the building up, that creates a massive problem for humans who want to act like they own the place.
Oh,
The text warns against acting as your own supreme power, specifically calling out the boastful in verses 4 through 7. It says, "Do not lift up your horn on high or speak with haughty neck."
and to really understand that haughty neck and the horn, we have to unpack the ancient metaphor. A horn was a symbol of aggressive, animalistic strength.
Like a beast getting ready to attack.
Yes. Picture a beast lowering its head, puffing its chest, and preparing to charge. It's the physical posture of sheer arrogance.
You see that exact same posture today, honestly, in corporate arrogance or political posturing, people constantly flexing to show how untouchable they are.
Oh, absolutely.
But the text mentions that power doesn't come from the east or the west or the wilderness. Why that specific geography? Like, are they saying that instead of looking horizontally to geographical neighbors or military alliances for power, you just have to look vertically?
Yeah, it's actually a brilliant geopolitical map of ancient anxieties, because to the east and west were rival nations and empires, and the wilderness was just a place of barren danger.
Okay. That makes sense.
So the text is saying, stop looking horizontally to military alliances or neighbors for your stability. You have to look vertically to divine authority. It is God who executes judgment, putting down one and lifting up another.
So if these corrupt leaders are constantly posturing, trying to establish themselves as apex predators, what happens when they finally run into the ultimate apex authority?
Well, verse 8 gives us this striking imagery. The Lord holds a cup of foaming wine well mixed, and the wicked must drain it down to the dregs.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to interpret this today?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the cup is a classic metaphor for absolute, inescapable consequence. But the details really matter here.
Like the well-mixed part.
Yeah. In the ancient Near East, well mixed didn't mean watered down. It meant mixed with potent spices to make it highly intoxicating.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what about the foaming?
The foaming indicates a forced loss of control. The wicked aren't just taking a polite sip of punishment.
They have to chug it.
Exactly. They're being forced to chug this potent wrath until they hit the gritty, bitter sediment, the dregs at the bottom. They're totally consuming the consequences of their own intoxicating arrogance.
Those elemental metaphors, the shaking pillars, the charging beasts, the spiced wine, they were ancient ways of processing very real anxieties about fairness and corrupt power.
They really help make sense of a world that often feels deeply unjust. The desire for equity, for someone to finally step in and stabilize a corrupt, tottering system, is just a timeless human need.
It really is. And that leaves us with an interesting tension to close on. We started by mentioning the opening musical direction for this song, which is Do Not Destroy.
Right.
Given the poem's incredibly intense ending, cutting off horns and forcing the wicked to drain the dregs of judgment, how does that opening plea of do not destroy subtly complicate the harsh justice described in the rest of the text?
It's a fantastic question.
It's a puzzle for you to mull over the next time the world feels like it's tottering around you.